Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the AEW Dark Review for the 19th of January 2021. The show continues to be a mixed bag. Much good stuff in general, and it's often too long, it's often non sequential, and many of the matches don't need to be as long as they are. But overall, every once in a while, you get good wrestling, or you get talent that isn't shown and needs to be at a level. Um, but for the most part, they announced that they're running at some point a new 1 hour television show and not a YouTube show. And I'm concerned about that because if they can't properly use an internet property of an internet show, why do they really need another television program? But anyway, Luchasaurus defeats Brandon Cutler with Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt in just under 6 minutes. Match is fine. Luchasaurus promo. Um, he lets us know that dragons are not real. We can trust him because he's got a master's degree. Cutler gets laid out on the floor. He gets grabbed in a wheelbarrow and slings him into the guardrails. Um, Cutler hits a top rope to the floor senton and then a leg drop. Gets a 1 count on that. Cutler avoids a choke slam, hits a springboard elbow, and Luchasaurus kind of pops up from that. Luchasaurus hits a choke slam for near fall before um, hitting another kick, gets things going. Um, and I mean, Cutler moves on an 8 match win streak. Obviously, they realize that that's either not going anywhere or nobody cares, or at least they see more in Luchasaurus, so you can't blame them for that. Sammy Guevara defeats El Australiano in just under 6 minutes. Not a fan of this, just simply because Sammy Guevara, back at maybe the November pay per view or the one before, whatever one he went in with Matt Hardy, he was hot, and he's just cooled off and kind of become just another guy, and I don't think they need just another guy. Australiano danced a lot, shakes himself around, and Australiano gets some aerial offense, gets a near fall, hits a Rana. Guevara hits a back suplex into a DDT for near fall. This looks painful. But Guevara misses a shooting star press, and Guevara uses a burning hammer into a GTS to win the match. Again, this doesn't need to go almost 6 minutes. Guevara shows respect to his opponent, cuts a promo, says he's got a chip on his shoulder, and that Chris Jericho scouts him, and it's not paying off. There's a 3-way tag match tomorrow, or today, as I'm recording this, on Dynamite to determine which tag team is the most influential in the inner circle. I hope this leads to the babyface turn of Sammy Guevara. He needs something to jumpstart his career. Scorpio Sky defeats Nick Kanemaru in just after 7 minutes. Another case of a match going too long. Kanemaru, for some people they like him. I think he looks like a caveman who belongs in the indies. Anyway, maybe they will do something with the gimmick and team him with something. Kanemaru dominates, works over Sky with the spine. He dominates the majority of the match, and Sky comes back with a clothesline over the top and a drop kick followed by the TKO. He actually gets the pinfall on the second one of these. Sky winning is good. I wish they were doing more with Sky, especially a guy getting older, and why waste him like this? Anyway, Shayna defeats Maddie Daniels. I love Shayna. Just over 3.5 minutes for this. Daniels is the jury's still out. You can't really tell anything in a 3.5 minute match. She gets the advantage early. Um, she doesn't do a lot of flashy moves, which I actually prefer. Um, she does a lot of trash talking. Shayna comes back and goes to a finish with which is Tiger Suplex with a bridge. Daniels manages to come out of that and has trouble getting her shoulders down. Then they do a second Tiger Suplex, and then um, this is an ugly finish. Both of these ladies not ready for a national company quite yet. Shayna's closer than the other girl. Butcher and Blade with the Bunny versus Mike Vera and Brandon Black. 6 minutes and 40 seconds. This was about 3.5 minutes too long. Butcher and Blade, I don't care about the gimmick. I don't care about them as talents. I don't see anything in them. However, there's no reason they need to go almost 7 minutes. Butcher and Blade cut off Black from his partner. Bunny interferes several times throughout the bout. Black avoids a double clothesline, gets a tag to his partner. Bunny distracts the ref for what seems like the 5th time in the match. Butcher and Blade catch the power bomb, Hangman neckbreaker combination, and Butcher pins one of them for the win. Not a fan of this at all. Gun Club defeat Ryzen and Adam Priest and Very Morales in just under 5 minutes. This doesn't need to go that long. Plus, start doing something with the Gun Club of consequence. Like, I get that they're second generation kids and then, Billy Gunn. But if you're not going to put them on TV, if you're not going to move them forward, you've just got guys under talent that you're under contract that you're wasting. Austin Gunn takes the majority of the heat early, gets clothesline from behind, gets a hot tag to his brother Colton, and then Colton hits a tilt-a-whirl slam. Colton and Austin finish off with the 310, and that's a backdrop into a neck breaker. This is, the right people won, but no, just no. Then another match I didn't agree with, but it's because of who was in it. Santana and Ortiz defeat Danny Limelight and John Cruz in about a minute and a half. Danny Limelight shouldn't have been in this. Cruz they haven't really done anything with. You put Limelight on national television and then you squash him in 90 seconds a couple weeks later? No, really stupid. Santana Ortiz are there. They basically dare Limelight into the ring, and Santana nails him with a super kick. Powerbomb finishes off Cruz. Good squash win. I'm not against Santana Ortiz getting a squash win, although if they're going to be on national television, they don't need to be on the show in the same week. But I am completely against what they did with who they beat. Private Party with Matt Hardy defeat Lee Johnson and Aaron Solo. I've mentioned before, and I will mention again, Lee Johnson is wasted in this role. Private Party, I still don't get over a year later, and the fact that they're given 7 minutes for this match is a waste of my time. Private Party was good when they opened the television product. They were different. They were new. Now they just look like an indie flip-de-doo team. And the story of the match is basically some miscommunication with the Hardys and Private Party. Eventually, I assume this leads to Matt Hardy getting an old-school partner and going against Private Party. Basically, Hardy's telling them to do whatever it takes to win. Private Party follows their instincts. They regain control. Hardy trips Solo to help Quinn. Hardy gets in the way of Cassidy when he's trying to dive to the floor. Match is fine for what it was, but the Hardy storyline overwhelms it. Obviously, Private Party wins, but no one. I don't know who would care. Speaking of who would care, 3.5 minutes. Big Swole defeats Alex Garcia. Swole is the number one contender for the AEW Women's Championship. This is just, I don't get it. Why? You have Britt Baker, you have Shayna, you have um, Leia Hirsch, you have all these other talented people, and the Big Swole thing didn't translate. Thunder Rosa is another one. It didn't translate, and to still be pushing it all these months later, it's goofy. Um, the action is fine for what you can do in 3.5 minutes. There's a ripcord forearm for the pin. Um, Big Swole, I don't see it. I don't get it. Anyway, Sonny Kiss defeats Zach Clayton. Really excited that he is coming out by himself at the moment. Clayton gets a 1 count after a suplex. Kiss comes back with a series of forearms, a couple of drop kicks, and then the split-legged leg drop in the middle finishes the match. Hopefully, they've abandoned the Joey Janela junk because Sonny Kiss has something and is being wasted with Janela. Top Flight versus KC Navarro and AJ Kush. Um, you know, anyway, this is the debut for Kush, and he was on the 2011 season of Tough Enough. Taz basically put Top Flight over as a good fit for Team Taz. Navarro avoids a drop kick from Dante. They get a little overexcited. Dante nails him with a second drop kick attempt. Dante's cut off by the heels, gets worked over for a bit. Blind tags to his brother. High cross body off the top rope on Navarro. Darius hits a Spanish fly for a near fall. Dante comes back to the top and hits a moonsault to the floor on Kush, and ultimately Darius rolls up Navarro for the pin. I know everyone's high on Top Flight, but to me they're like the fourth Hardy ripoff team in the area, and I don't get it. Anyway, speaking of things I don't get, why do we need to do another tag match here? The Acclaimed, Fuego del Sol and Sean Dean. Actually, wait, I skipped a match. Skipped the other women's match. Ivelisse and Diamante, Tessa Price, and Kaylina Perez. Good 4.5 minutes. This is fine. Ivelisse and Diamante work over Perez for most of the match. Price gets tagged. There's a cartwheel into a kick, and then a bulldog on Ivelisse. Enziguri from Perez and follows up with a neckbreaker. Ivelisse comes back with a spinning kick and gets pinned. Ivelisse and Diamante are decent enough talents, but again, the women's division is so schizophrenically booked that you never really know what woman's getting momentum. Anyway, we move on to another match that doesn't need to be here. It's just there to fill time. The Acclaimed defeat Fuego del Sol and Sean Dean. Fuego del Sol was a fun little enhancement talent gimmick. It doesn't have any value anymore. Sean Dean's another enhancement talent they're wasting completely. Bowens and Caster hit a neckbreaker and a backstabber for near fall early on Dean. Del Sol gets a hot tag, hits sliced bread on Caster, and then Caster counters a spinning DDT and turns it into a brainbuster. Bowens gets a pin on Del Sol. After top rope elbow, Acclaimed on a roll, but it's not a match that's needed. Main event or final match, depending how you look at it. Lucha Brothers with Pac defeated Chaos Project in 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Lucha Brothers they don't fit. They're a lucha tag team that do lots of cool spots, but you've got Top Flight, and you've got there's other high spot, the Bucks, and you've got Private Party, and you've got all these high spot teams. They all blend together, and I'm just not a fan of teams that have no story, no consequence to their matches going forward, and Chaos Project's been overpushed in my opinion anyway. Serpentico gets a near fall after DDT on Penta. Luther tags in. Serpentico gets another near fall. Luther, uh, Chaos Project. Luther uses Serpentico as a weapon. That's the whole gimmick. It was a one-note joke 6 months ago. Now it's just useless. You know. Anyway, Penta hits a sling blade on Luther. Tag to Phoenix. Powerbomb from Phoenix. Follows up with a boot to the spine from Penta. And gets a near fall. Package pile driver finish. Penta gets the pin. I don't know. For me, and I love AEW. I think they're the best company in the country right now. But when I hate half of what's on Dark, I don't know if that's a good thing for the future of the company. I don't know if that's a good thing for the future of the sport. But I don't think that anybody really cares. I think they actually believe that the style of wrestling that's here is going to be here in 20 years. My concern is for the longevity of the sport. This current product on both of the U.S. national companies is going to be unsustainable. We've seen that WWE is at low points. AEW and PWG and all these companies that don't do storytelling might last another 10 years. They might even last another 15. But 20 years from now, pro wrestling will be dead if somebody doesn't bring back the art form of storytelling in a way that makes sense. Anyway, we'll be back with an Impact review. Also going to add some more of the Wrestling Challenge series today. Please subscribe, like, comment below, and all that good stuff.